All right, guys, welcome to In the Zone. Dave Delgado on vacation, so I'll be filling in for him for the next week or so, or whenever, or maybe permanently. I don't know, Dave. Enjoy your vacation. But today, the podcast, we're going to be talking to the Super Saiyan, Jon Tuck, and I don't know if you're a Super Saiyan, Ken, but we got Ken St. joining us. So we got Jon in here talking about a big fight that's kind of a last-minute fight that just popped up. It's happening September 27th, all the way over in Dublin, Ireland. First of all, I want to go, before we get to all that, the name of the podcast is In the Zone. And athletes are very superstitious. Athletes can be very, routine oriented. So what do you do to get in the zone for a fight, to get in that state of mind, that focus before you step in the ring and punch a guy and kick a guy in the face?
I just, for me, going in the zone, getting in the zone right before fight night, there's a lot of different ways to go about it. You can have many different situations where they call you last minute, like, hey, you got to go up, you're next, because the fights all started with knockouts.
Right, they're all first round knockouts. You're like, I'm not supposed to fight until later, but oh no, I'm up.
Yeah, and there's like different placements on where you're at with the fight, right? But getting in the zone, so usually, routinely, I like to start warming up an hour before so that I can get a good sweat. Before that, too, I'd just be kind of like meditating and also stretching out and just getting loose. And right before the fight, I start turning it up, getting on the mitts, doing little situation drills.
Because at that point, the physical stuff is kind of done. The training camp, you know what I mean? You've done your drills, you've done the cardio, you've done all this, you've sparred, do all that. So now it's just a matter of waiting to get into the ring to execute that. So at that point, it's a real mental struggle, isn't it? Because that's when maybe, doubts start creeping in, or you're like, okay, did I prepare enough? Did I do enough cardio? Do you have those kind of mental struggles before a match?
No, that's never the case with me because, training, I got to train hard every single time because the guy across me is trying to take my head out, and there's a chance that I could die in that ring, and that's how I step into the ring each and every time. Is like it's gonna be either him or me, and for sure I'm not gonna get my head taken off.
Yeah. So it is a big match coming up all the way in Dublin, Ireland, against Brandon Gertz, who's a seeded contender. I've seen him have some big fights, and you haven't fought professionally in over a year. A lot of stuff has gone on. There was that little injury even before your last fight. Had a baby since then. Congratulations. So there's a lot of stuff going on in your life, but still finding time to stay fit, stay sharp, ready for this fight. How do you do it, man?
Just, motivation, keeping that motivation, keep myself in check, discipline. Being a fighter, it's definitely not an easy life.
I couldn't do it. I mean, it's just a profession, where it's physical harm. Like that, you're going in there. I could get knocked out. I have to punch a dude in the face repeatedly, kick, my jiu-jitsu, all this. I couldn't do it. Ken, you roll a little bit.
How often do you train a day?
At least twice a day. I train at least twice a day, a few hours at a time, and but honestly, it's like 24/7. Try to stay sharp mentally, thinking about my opponent or thinking about how I can better develop myself for the next training, and but then at the same time, it's like you gotta enjoy it too. So you can't just be so, I don't know how to say it, but like you gotta be a little bit loose too. You gotta enjoy the process.
You gotta be loose. Just with any sport, okay, you've done the drills and all that. You train, you practice, but you gotta have fun with it. I mean, otherwise, what's the point? Yeah, it's your livelihood. Train, but also you gotta enjoy it a little bit. You're a young dude.
I mean, you gotta enjoy it, right? Like, because if one of the risks is being hurt or injured, and that's something that you have to face every day.
Yeah,
it takes a certain type of love or passion for the sport in order to put yourself out there like that, right?
Yeah, and it's definitely tough, like put it this way, like my last fight, amazing camp, best shape of my life, going there with an injury that we did work out, but during the fight, you know, man, we're throwing bombs,
because any little injury, a little ache or pain in a fight is like magnified. You know what I mean?
So basically, going for a takedown, you can get your neck tweaked out of place again, and basically what happened. So, you know, fighting through that, and then you don't get your hand raised. It's like, man, I leave the family, I leave home for this. Like, man, I just gotta battle my demons with that, you know, and that's definitely the hard part. Is you know, it's hard not to say that you don't go through a depression, but I think every loss, if you put your heart and soul into it, is how can you not go through and battle depression like that?
It's got to be tough because fight, you know, there's not a one every week, you know what I mean? This is once every few months, once a year maybe you'll get a call to fight. And so you put everything into it. And nobody likes to lose. But when you put so much into a, you know, 15-minute fight and it doesn't come out your way, that's got to mess with you mentally. But then the trick is to have that short-term memory and just learn from that one and move on. So
yeah,
what did you take away from that Drew Dober fight? You know, even with the injury, but still, a loss is a loss. You're not making excuses. What did you take away from that fight that you think maybe you need to work on?
Well, it's basically I didn't lose. Like, I of course he got his hand raised, and sometimes it's like, damn, I wish I had 2 more rounds because I know I would have put him out, even though I was only operating with half my body, and people were like, oh, why don't you pull out before the fight? You know, it's like, man, I didn't put all this hard work, 2 months straight into it so that I can pull out right before the fight. But that's just the fighter in me. Maybe somebody should have pulled me out. I don't know. But sometimes you can go into the fight injured, have a torn labrum, and then win fight of the night bonus or performance of the night bonus. You know?
Never know, man.
So that's the gamble you got to take, and that's the struggles. You know, it's live by the sword, die by the sword type of deal. You know,
the highs are high, but the lows are low.
And so after that fight, you know, I every opponent that I lost to, I've lost to myself, because whatever injury and whatever issue happened before the fight, I just wasn't myself in those fights exactly. But every time, I just had to keep drilling in my head, like, I am one of the best in the world, and I definitely could be the champion, and it's all about timing and patience, you know. There's some other fighters, like, I mean, look at Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz, I think he's got, like, near 15 losses and maybe 20 wins. I'm not sure exactly. And people would say, oh, that's not a great record, but look at where he is. It's not about the record. He's a great fighter, you know. It's just that
he's got a huge fan base, huge following, respect.
People have their journey in this, and I think my journey is just set up this way. And just got to remind myself to be disciplined and not let lose too much, you know, because, you know, people can go into other sorts, battling, you know, their downs, going into other types of recreation, you know. Some people get drunk, some people do drugs, but I had to make sure that I was staying strong. And the great thing about it is I had a baby, so that gave me more inspiration for myself and motivation to make sure that, you know, it's not just for me, it's not just for the family, but also for my kids.
Yeah.
You know, my daughter, who's 7 years old, and then my baby, who's now almost 1 year old. So all of that gave me motivation. And then coming back to Guam, I love helping the other athletes here, the other fighters that are trying to...
Yeah, let's talk about it, man. I mean, here on Guam, you go to a gym, you've got a world champion here, you've got a world champion over here, you got black belts all over the place. So the fight game on Guam is crazy good. So it used to be to train for these professional big fights, you have to go off island. You've got to go to California, or you got to go somewhere else. But the talent here and the skill here on Guam, you don't feel the need to have to fly off somewhere to train. You can do that here.
Yeah, you definitely can do it here. The only things that I why I would leave off island is because I'm usually the bigger guy, and I can't keep losing my training partners because there is a type of intensity that you have to bring into the fight, and I don't want to be that guy because oh, he's trying to hurt me in the training, and there's other ways
I don't
about
want
it.
to spar with him. He's
But
gonna kill me.
I really am grateful for the guys that come and show up and train each and every day at especially Spike with Kyle, Uggan, and then been helping Urson, Miyu Yamamoto, and working with Trevin Jones been coming too. So all these guys came around and still been showing their love, mutual and symbiotic. So it's been working out real well to be able to help them, and at the same time, though I do have a last minute fight, I've been helping them prepare for theirs and also staying in shape in case something popped up.
It's kind of a family, isn't it? Because all these guys, you're trying to fight in this promotion or this promotion, or hey, I've got to fight in Japan or whatever it may be. So everybody else in that camp, that group, you're helping that guy, that lady, get up and train to the best, to be the best that they can be, to really go out there and put on a show.
Yeah, for sure. It's also it's great pride, like whether I leave off island, I'm bringing all that knowledge that I gained out there back to Guam, and I don't see too many other people doing it, so I think it's a benefit, that I'm able to do that, train out there, come back, and then also help everybody, like brothers and sisters, of course, and I love seeing
Brothers
them
and sisters fight.
Yeah, I love seeing them. Yeah, for sure. I love seeing them do well. Kyle Uggan's got a fight coming up in Pancrase, and he's going against a guy who he beat before to rematch for the title. Yeah. So I can see him definitely being the Pancrase champion. Miyu Yamamoto has got a title contendership fight against a former UFC fighter. I could see her getting the rising belt real soon. Rocky Martinez, ups and downs, we all suffer that, but I definitely
he's coming off an injury as well
yeah,
after his last fight.
He had an amazing fight of the night, maybe fight of the year, if you can say, because him and the other guy, Jake Hume, was really throwing down, and he broke his hand in the first punch, I believe.
Jeez.
And he just hung in there, that Chamorro spirit that Guam just does that to you, just brings out the best of you. And Trevin Jones fighting guys in Russia, beating like top prospects in Russia. He beat a seasoned veteran in Japan, and he's making his way up too, just as much for whatever promotion he signs with. I can see him being another champion as well. So I see all the guys that are putting in the hard work here. Maybe it's been a minute since we all had belts around our waist or whatever, but the time is definitely coming.
But like you said,
the
patience.
Yeah.
This is not one of those things, hey, I've been fighting for 3 months, where's my belt? Like, you got to work, and you're going to have those losses. You're going to have those setbacks. The best fighters in the history of the game have losses. They have their L's that they took. That's all part of it, man. You bounce back, and you improve on that. And it's a real individual sport when you're in that ring, but a fighter can have all the talent in the world, like just that natural skill, but you can only really be as good as your camp. And I think Guam has shown that, dude, like you said, we got people, men and women, fighting in these big promotions around the world, and it just goes to show how good the talent is here on Guam.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we can put us against with the best of the best. I fought guys who fought for the belt. And it's just that little detail, every like for jiu-jitsu, it's like one little mistake, that could cost you the fight. And I'm just happy. I'm just
yeah. Do we want to tell a story about when Ken and
there's no happy stories.
Oh,
I mean, not from my perspective.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's all happy for me.
No,
what are you talking about? I'll let you side mount me. I don't care. Hey, but Ken's got some. He's good.
He's
Good
got the
at
moves.
I'll pay you after.
Yeah, he'll
Yeah.
submit.
We'll
He'll
go around
submit.
lunch after.
He can. I've seen him submit some black belts, and I'm not gonna say, but I've seen him.
Hey man,
It
happens, though,
Maybe,
you know?
he's gone easy on me, but man, his
It's
passing
like
game
you're
is
training for a fight. I don't want to
his
hurt you.
passing game is on point.
So
So-
John, I want to ask you. So like you got this fight pretty late notice. Like, how do you prepare for something like this when you only have like 3 weeks time? As
And it's
opposed
in
to
Dublin,
like a full
Ireland.
90 day. Yeah, and it's in Ireland. Like, you're gonna get out there early, right? Like at least a week early, I'm guessing. And like,
Yeah,
how do
for
you
sure.
prepare for an opponent where your training camp has been more general? Like, there's not really focused on a particular strategy. Do you have time to develop like a strategy just for your opponent?
Mhm.
Like, or I mean, are you just looking at a more broad like perspective where it'd be like, well, he's a pretty good wrestler, try to stay away
Or did
from
you just like focus on, all right, this is what I'm good at, this is what I need to work
Yeah.
on, and then go with that?
Well, yeah, it's a combination of everything. Sometimes it's like you put in some of the best camps, whether it be 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatnot, but you put in the best camps, and then right before the fight, it's like you got injury. But the great thing about this is like I'm not really dealing with any injuries, just the minor bumps and bruises that you get with a fight camp or training. It is martial arts, so you're
Yeah.
bound to.
Yeah, there's
you're
going to be
bound
those.
I'm just happy I don't
Wait,
got
you
a
get
black eye
bruises
going
and
into
stuff?
the.
You get bruises?
You don't bruise like a peach,
What?
Ken?
Come on,
But-
man.
But what I look at it is like I've taken about the similar time notice for a fight with Edward Folling.
Oh.
I was brought in as a sheep, basically to get mauled on so they could better his record and bring him.
And that's
up
part of
into-
the game. There's that behind the scenes. They think, oh, this guy, just throw him to the wolves. All right. This is the guy we want to be champ. We'll let him run over Jon Tuck, whoever that is.
I mean, but Edward, like, so you knocked out Edward in like 10 seconds.
Yeah, it was like so I had like maybe a little over 2 weeks notice to fight him, 2.5 or something like that, and
That was in Saipan, right?
yeah, it was in
Saipan,
Saipan, and they're like kind of playing with me a little bit, like, oh, they advertise it as a title fight, and I was like, hell yeah, but are we getting paid like a title fight? But I'm grateful for the opportunity, and it's just a a little like the deals, right?
the business aspect
Yeah,
of
like
the game.
okay, you're gonna give me this last minute fight, but are you gonna take care of me,
Mhm.
kinda, So, whatever that all that I left to them to see if they would be able to work something out, and I just wanted to fight, so I just watched that Edward Folling, he's a black belt in wushu,
Yeah.
or he's like a Asian champion, world. He placed like 5th in the world for wushu, the Sanda championships or whatever, and at the time I was just a blue belt. Not many people knew me for striking or anything like that. So I was like, I just gotta get my butt to work and really push it out
learn
there.
some punches.
Yeah, I gotta push the cardio and push the Not that I need to learn punches, I just needed to constantly drill and condition the hell out of it and just get wild. And that's kind of similar thing that I'm doing right now. That time I was working with Brian Hahn, he had a lot of time to be able to help me out with that, and Big John, and some of the other guys too that at the time was contenders. And a lot of conditioning involved, making sure that when I go in there, because the guy's a beast, he trains in Baguio,
Yeah.
up in elevation.
It's like training
Against-
in Denver, It's like,
Well,
big
and,
bear,
and,
yeah.
and the crazy thing about it is, the guy that I'm fighting, he's kind of wild too. He throws bombs.
Let's talk
like,
about this dude, Brandon Gertz. What do we know about him?
He throws bombs. He's a D3 Division 3 wrestler. I think he's an All-American for that. And he just throws bombs as well.
Yeah.
Like Edward Folland, he throws bombs too. He's just a southpaw fighter, throwing bombs, and he trains in elevation in Denver. So it's just an island boy going up against these mountain folks, you know what I mean?
These mountain people.
These mountain cats.
Well, you got a good record against the mountain people so far, so.
Yeah. So like I was saying, is like maybe I got this last minute fight. I've been training consistently, breaks here and there, but I'm not in bad shape going into this fight. So right now, like I said before, I just got to get wild with it. You know, just really grind down. And sometimes these work out better than you would in a full training camp. You know, I didn't get a chance to go fly out to California and do a little extra sharpening out there, but I don't think that would have benefited me either, because I would have to acclimate.
We've seen guys that overtrain.
Yeah, I would have to acclimate out there, and then I got to go to Ireland and acclimate out there. So, you know, I've been consistently going with the boys on Island, and we also got some national wrestlers from Japan who are on a world scale. It could be in the Olympics for 2020, helping us train as well. Coach Arrow Allegre has been helping with our boxing, and then other than that, we've just been working a lot of kickboxing drills and really putting that together, and also dissecting my opponent a bit, what he likes to do, what he's not good at.
Do a little film work.
Yeah.
Watch this, the record, read interviews.
Yeah, so like when I had a fight with Edward Folang, I was kind of obsessing with him, just watching every little detail, because really I didn't have nobody to watch after me so much, you know, but I was grateful to have Big John and Brian Hahn too. But I did the extra homework is what I was where I'm going with. So
yeah. You got to do that. The mental aspect, you know, the film study. You got to do that. It's cardio and all that. But if you go in with just I have no game plan, I'm just gonna do whatever, that can go bad for you.
Yeah, I also been working with Coach Steve over at Custom Fitness, and then also working with Dr. D over at Health Bistro. You know, he's been cleaning up my diet and keeping me you know, in check with my body, you know, chiropractic, and then also getting some laser work into taking care of the rapid healing.
There's a lot that goes into it. Ken, I wanted to ask you, we're going to ask you to put your matchmaking hat back on.
Okay, okay.
We've got Jon Tuck here. Say you're a matchmaker for one of the biggest promotions in the world or whatever. Who do you think would be a good matchup for Jon, that like this is a fight people would want to see across all promotions? Because we all want to see our boy go out and wear a belt. But like you want to see that fight that I just don't want to throw him these sheep, like you said, you know what I mean? Come on, Ken, think about it.
You know,
straight to the top? Are we talking belt right now?
No, I would want the fight that's like regional, right? Like a fight in like China, a fight in like Korea. I know there was like a Korea card that just happened, right? Like
a Chinese card. That was the Shenzhen card.
Where a Chinese, first
you know,
Chinese champion.
Oh yeah, and she's good too.
Yeah,
like, and
you were trying to recruit her a while back.
She could have been a PXC fighter, but, you know. We missed that vote, I guess. Yeah. But, you know, I would want a card there because it'd be easy for Guam people to come out and fly there to take a fight there.
I don't think a whole lot of people from Guam are flying out to Dublin, John.
It's kind of far.
Yeah, it is kind of far. Honestly, I was hoping to land something like closer. Before I took the fight in Bellator and across the world to Dublin. I was trying to get fights closer here because I love fighting close to home because it's so much energy when people fly out and they support you, and you just feel that when you go into the fight. Like Manila was the last time, I believe, and then it was just such a shame that last Manila card didn't go through. Yeah. And then I was trying to fight in Japan before that, and it didn't really happen, but I really feel the love when I go in there, and you just feel like, man,
it's home away from home.
It may not be a
it's
advantage,
Guam,
but
it's Guam and the people that support us against the world, and that's ultimately the key to success is having people to back you.
You know, it's a different experience because, like, you know, when we have fights on like PXC, right? We have fights like let's say we had Frank and John. Right, like that would be the fight. 155, Frank and John, UFC vets, right? Like that would be a huge fight. But that feeling is not really what Guam's about. Like, you know, I want to say like, yeah, okay, PXC fights, we like the local rival gym kind of thing.
Right.
But if you ever seen like a UFC fight or another fight where John fought on a card, like when we went to China for John's, like, was that your first fight?
Macau, yeah.
Or we went to Macau, or like even if you go like when we went to Manila for another fight, like there's just a big group of Guam people. Like maybe you see a familiar face or whatever, like, but like everyone's supporting one guy. You know what I mean? It's like a big party. Like he just took Guam somewhere else.
I don't want to
And
split
it's
the
super
island by
fun.
having
that's-
Frank and
that-
John. I
that's-
can't do that.
Yeah.
That's
That's
Civil
really-
War stuff right there.
Yeah.
Definitely it is. I was never really big. I understand like for business and promotion rights, it's everybody wants to see who's the best of the best on island or in within the Mariana Islands and whatnot. But like, I never like it to be split. You know,
Right.
I don't want half of Guam to go for me or.
That's why it was great when, you know, PXC was bringing in those off-island guys to go up against the Guam dudes. You know, Guam versus Korea, Guam versus
Yeah.
this guy from the States versus Australia. And it's like, that we can really rally around the Guam dude.
Yeah, for sure.
When you see two Guam guys, you're like, okay, I don't support either gym, so I'm just, okay.
It's different now, you know, like
Yeah.
Trevin training with John, you know,
Right.
like gyms that, you know, notoriously were never together are like more together now. It's just like one big training
Well, yeah,
environment. We all
I love
know,
seeing
you know?
Trev and Kyle. You know, they had such a good history together, and now to see them put
Yeah.
a lot of hard work together is only bringing out the best of them, and
Yeah.
that definitely elevates them to becoming champions in whatever respected organizations
Yeah.
they're with.
Well, we hope we're going to see you be a champion someday, John. Bellator coming up September 27th in Dublin, Ireland. How can we watch it?
It's gonna be. You can either find it on Bellator.com. I believe it's on DAZN, DAZN. I believe that's an app, and you can also catch it on TV. It's gonna show nationwide and also on island on Paramount TV or
I know.
Paramount Pictures.
Ken will do internet things and
Yeah,
figure it
we'll
out,
find
and
it.
we'll post
But
it.
yeah,
make sure we
I'm
get it.
going against Brandon Gertz. He's top seeded number 4, I believe, ranked in Bellator. So it's a great opportunity. He's looking to tear my head off, and I'm looking to do the same. And
Well, step one,
really,
not
really,
get your head torn off.
Yeah,
Step two,
for sure.
tear his off.
for sure. But when I go in there and I look against across the ring and I see the guy, I'm like, this is it. Let's go for it. Let's get it done because you know, this is what we're here. That's what we're here to do.
We're all going to be watching. We're all going to be cheering you on, man. John Cruz, Tuck, the Super Saiyan, Bellator coming up September 27th again in Dublin, Ireland. We'll be watching along. That is In the Zone.